Breakups are rarely easy, but some don't just end in heartache. They spiral into something far worse. Tonight, you'll hear 3 true breakup horror stories that took a turn for the absolute worst. These aren't just messy endings. They're disasters you won't forget. Let's get into it. I dated my girlfriend, Erica, for nearly 3 years. We got along great. Her family loved me. I honestly thought that she was the one. For months, she'd been dropping hints about wanting me to propose, so I bought a ring. I even asked her parents for permission. They approved instantly. The plan was to propose the very next day. But the night before, I walked into her living room and found her crying. Not just a little emotional, she looked wrecked. I sat down, asked her what's wrong, and she admitted it. She had been having an affair with her boss at IBM. I know most people would be furious, maybe start yelling, but I was strangely calm. No yelling, no cursing, no throwing things. I just stood up, told her we're done, and left. I did not cut ties with her family though. They all reached out in the days after to apologize for her, which honestly hurt more than the cheating itself. Months went by. Life was looking up. I had gotten a promotion at work. I was hitting the gym consistently, and I'd been on some great dates. I barely thought about Erica anymore. One night, I was in my apartment, sitting at my desk with my laptop open, watching a YouTube video while knocking out some work. That's when I got a Facebook message notification. It was from Erica. I never blocked her, but she had not reached out since the breakup. The message said, "I'm so sorry for what I did. You were the best thing that's ever happened to me." She went on to say that she found out her boss was sleeping with multiple women in the office, and she did not want to be a groupie anymore. I thought about responding, but I didn't. I was in a good place. I wasn't going to reopen a chapter I'd worked so hard to close. So I turned off my phone and went to bed. That night, I woke up to this faint whistling sound. At first, I thought it was part of my dream, but when I sat up in bed, it was still there. It was coming from my window. I walked over and pulled the blinds up, and there she was, Erica, standing by the tree outside my apartment, staring up at me. The moonlight hit her face in a way that made it clear she was smiling. It wasn't a happy smile though, it was off. I opened the window and told her to get out of here. She did not say a word, just kept smiling. Then she ran. Not away, but straight to my front door. From my bedroom upstairs, I could hear her jiggling the handle and pounding on it. I went downstairs and looked through the glass panel next to the door. She was bleeding. Her arms had streaks of blood on them, but she did not look like she was in pain. She was still smiling. Then she punched the glass hard enough to shatter it and reached her hand through, trying to grab me. I ran upstairs, grabbed a baseball bat and my phone, and was about to call the police. But for some reason, I decided to call her dad first. When I got back to the door, she was gone. Just gone. Her dad picked up. I told him what happened. He did not sound shocked. He said Erica had been in a really bad place lately, not showing up to work, barely eating, shutting herself off from everyone. The next morning, I got the full story. Apparently, the night before, she'd gotten extremely intoxicated. Then she cut herself with a kitchen knife, saying it was some kind of hex to get me back. Her family ended up taking her to a psychiatric facility for treatment. I did not press charges. as messed up as it was, I just felt bad for her. Not long after, I moved to a different city. I haven't heard from her since. I can only hope she's getting the help she needs. But I'll never forget the sight of her standing under that tree, smiling up at my window, in the middle of the night. I broke up with my boyfriend after he lost his job. At first, I tried to support us both, but he was living in my apartment, and I figured it was temporary. But he refused to get another job. I'd come home after working overtime, and the house would be a mess. No dishes done, and he'd expect me to cook dinner on top of it. This went on for 3 months before I finally snapped. I kicked him out and ended things. He moved back into his parents' basement. It hurt because I loved him, and he had so much potential, but he was wasting it. About a week after he moved out, the text started. He told me he would change, that he'd get a job, but I was done, and I told him that. Then came the phone calls, 20+ missed calls in a single day, over and over again. It did not stop there. I worked for a carpet company, managing inventory, and soon I started seeing him in the parking lot. He never came inside, but I'd spot his car sitting there, the engine off, windows up, just watching. This freaked me out so much that I had multiple coworkers walking me to my car every night when I left. The worst night came when I got home late. I walked up to my apartment door and noticed it was slightly opened. Huge red flag. I always lock my door. I did not go inside. Instead, I went next door to my neighbor's. He was ex-military, and I asked if he could check things out for me. He agreed. When we stepped inside, the smell hit us immediately. Gas. The whole apartment reeked of it. We went straight to the kitchen and found the stove burners turned on. I reached over to shut them off, but before I could, I heard a commotion come from the back of the apartment. My neighbor had gone toward my bedroom, and now I could hear him yelling, telling me to get out. I looked down the hallway and saw my ex. He and my neighbor were on the floor wrestling. There was a lighter on the ground, and my ex was trying to grab it. My neighbor managed to pin him down, and my ex started crying. He dragged him outside and called the police. His plan was to wait for me to walk into the bedroom and then spark the lighter. With the gas filling the apartment, it would have blown us all up. If my neighbor hadn't come in with me, I might not be here right now. My ex was arrested that night, and he's still serving his sentence. I've moved on since, but every time I walk through my front door now, I still think about that night and how close it came to being my last. After 3 years together, I ended things with my boyfriend in January. Things had turned cold, and I needed space to breathe. He moved out quietly. I blocked him on everything, not out of spite, but for my own peace of mind. About a week later, someone moved into the unit directly across the hall from mine. I did not think much of it at first. Then little things started showing up. My old coffee mug, the one I'd thrown away, left on my doorstep. A picture of us slid under my door. An earring I hadn't seen in months, placed on my car windshield. I assumed it was him, but when I asked the property manager who moved in, he told me the unit was still vacant. No one had new keys. That did not make sense. I'd seen lights on at night. I had heard footsteps, and once I saw a figure standing behind the blinds across the hall, just watching. One night, I came home and noticed the door to that unit was cracked open. I should not have looked inside, but I did. The place was empty. No furniture, no lights, just a mattress in the corner, with our old photo album lying on it. Every photo had been altered. My face cut out, replaced with pictures clearly taken without my knowledge. One of them was of me sleeping. I ran. I did not sleep that night. The next morning, I reported everything to the police and the property manager. They reviewed security footage, and sure enough, it was my ex. He had somehow made a copy of the building key before moving out, and he had been squatting in that unit across the hall. He was arrested for trespassing and stalking. I moved out 2 weeks later. Even now, I still check across the hall before unlocking my doors, just in case. And those were 3 breakup stories that prove some endings are anything but peaceful. If you got a story of your own, whether it's terrifying, strange, or just plain unsettling, send it in, and you might hear it in a future video. Thanks for watching, and stay safe out there.